How did your ancestors sleep? Imagine a small band of humans 100,000 years ago. The sun has set. The savanna is dark. Predators are hunting somewhere in the distance. The fire is burning low. Around it, everyone you know is settling in for the night. Not alone in separate rooms. Not behind locked doors. Together, bodies pressed close. The sound of breathing, crackling embers, distant howls. You close your eyes. Now imagine yourself tonight, in a dark room, alone or with one other person, silent except for maybe a fan or distant traffic, in a bed designed for one or two bodies. The temperature, a steady 22 degrees, no fire to tend, no predators to listen for, no one else's breathing to sync with. Your body notices the difference, even if your mind doesn't. For 300,000 years, humans slept in groups, not because it was cozy, because it was survival. Sleeping alone on the savanna was a death sentence. Predators hunted at night. The darkness was absolute. If you slept alone, you probably didn't wake up. So your nervous system evolved a simple rule. Safety equals proximity to other bodies. If you can hear breathing, smell familiar humans, feel warmth beside you, your brain registers safety and releases the neurochemicals that allow deep sleep. This isn't theory. Anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherer societies like the Hadza of Tanzania and the San of the Kalahari have documented sleep patterns largely unchanged for tens of thousands of years. These groups sleep in close clusters, often touching. The fire burns continuously. Someone is always partially awake, tending it. The group breathes together, rustles together, exists together through the night. And when researchers measure their sleep, they find something remarkable. They sleep less than we do, about 6 to 6.5 hours on average. Yet they report almost no insomnia and no sleep anxiety. Not because their lives are easier, because their nervous systems receive exactly what 300,000 years of evolution trained them to expect: the signal of companionship. Now compare that to tonight. You lock your door, you turn off the light, you lie down in a room by yourself, and according to your nervous system, you have just done something terrifying. You have separated from the group in the dark. Your modern brain knows you're safe, but your ancient brain doesn't speak the language of deadbolts and alarm systems. It speaks the language of proximity. Is there breathing nearby? Is there warmth? Are there others? If the answer is no, it stays partially alert, because for 300,000 years, isolated sleep meant death. And this brings us to one of the most surprising discoveries about ancestral sleep. Ancient humans probably didn't sleep 8 hours straight. In the early 1990s, psychiatrist Thomas Ware conducted an experiment. He placed subjects in complete darkness for 14 hours every night. No artificial light, no screens, no alarm clocks, just natural darkness. Within weeks, their sleep transformed. They began sleeping in 2 distinct blocks. A first sleep of about 3 to 4 hours, then a period of wakefulness lasting 1 to 2 hours, then a second sleep of another 3 to 4 hours. Ware had accidentally rediscovered what historians now call segmented sleep or biphasic sleep. Historian Roger Eckhart later found evidence of this pattern everywhere: in medieval diaries, in court records, in letters, in literature. People referred to first sleep and second sleep as naturally as we say morning and evening. The waking period between them was called the watch, and it wasn't spent anxiously trying to fall back asleep. People talked, they prayed, they reflected on dreams. Couples were intimate, neighbors visited. It was a normal, accepted, even cherished part of the night. What changed? Artificial light. When gas lamps and later electric lighting extended the day, bedtimes shifted later. The first sleep compressed. The watch disappeared. By the early 20th century, segmented sleep had been forgotten so completely that when people woke at 2 a.m., they thought something was wrong with them. The same waking period their ancestors used for conversation, reflection, and intimacy had been medicalized into a disorder: sleep maintenance insomnia. But what if it's not a disorder? What if waking in the middle of the night is actually your ancient brain doing exactly what it evolved to do? Your nervous system has no idea that you live in a world of smartphones, thermostats, and locked doors. It still expects to fall asleep surrounded by the sounds and sensations of group sleep. It still expects firelight flickering against a cave wall. It still expects to wake briefly between sleep cycles in that ancient watch period and hear breathing nearby. And when none of those things are present, it doesn't relax. It stays vigilant. It registers isolation not as privacy, but as danger. And we have made it worse. Modern sleep hygiene, as well-intentioned as it is, has eliminated many of the very sensations your ancient brain needs to feel safe. We chase absolute darkness when your ancestors slept with firelight. We chase absolute silence when your ancestors slept to the sounds of breathing, shifting bodies, and the natural world. We chase individual sleep surfaces when your ancestors slept pressed against others. We treat the midnight waking as pathology when your ancestors treated it as normal. Sleep scientist Matthew Walker has shown that sleep quality is profoundly shaped by emotional state. Anxiety and vigilance suppress deep sleep. Your brain will not enter the deepest, most restorative sleep stages unless it registers safety. And safety, to your ancient brain, is not a locked door. Safety is the sound of another human breathing within arm's reach. This is the evolutionary mismatch at the heart of your sleep struggle. You are not broken. Your sleep is not defective. You are a creature of the Pleistocene trying to sleep in the Anthropocene. And if you sometimes lie awake at 3 a.m. feeling alone and alert, that's not a disorder. That's your nervous system doing exactly what evolution shaped it to do, keeping you safe in the dark. So what do you do with this? You can't exactly invite a band of hunter-gatherers to sleep on your bedroom floor, but understanding the mismatch is itself powerful, because the anxiety you feel when you wake at 2 a.m. is often layered anxiety. There's the original vigilance, the ancient brain scanning for threats, but then there's the second layer, the anxiety about being awake, the frustration, the clock watching, the catastrophic thinking about tomorrow. That second layer is modern, and it's the one that actually prevents you from falling back asleep. Some of the most effective interventions are surprisingly simple. A body pillow can simulate the pressure of another body. A sound machine set to ambient natural sounds, not white noise but soft rhythmic sounds like distant waves or rain, gives your brain something familiar to anchor to. A dim, warm nightlight mimics firelight without disrupting melatonin. And perhaps most importantly, if you wake in the middle of the night, refuse to panic about it. Remind yourself that for most of human history, this was normal. The watch. The quiet hour between sleeps when people talked and thought and simply existed in the dark together. Because here's what the evolutionary story really tells us. You are not failing at sleep. You are succeeding at being human. Your body is still running on ancient software, expecting ancient conditions, responding to ancient signals. And when you understand that, the 3 a.m. waking stops being a personal failure and becomes something else, a reminder. Evidence that you are connected to every human who ever lived and slept around a fire, listening to the breathing of their people in the dark. That feeling of alertness in the quiet hours, that's not broken. That's not a disorder. That's 300,000 years of survival keeping watch. That's your ancestors keeping you safe. Before you go, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you wake in the middle of the night? Have you ever tried any of these approaches? Share your experience in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey into humanity's past, subscribe to Ash and Origins for more stories exploring the archaeology, anthropology, history, and human experiences that shaped who we are today. Until next time, keep asking questions because every answer about the past reveals something about ourselves.